Here we go, back on to Nuke. It's going to be a long slog. I can see this maybe going distance once again. 16-12 the last time. Due in part to the LEGIJA's 1v4 clutch. Had it not gone that way, maybe even overtime would have been on the horizon. It was so back and forth.
Yeah.
But it is going to be another chance for TSM to get themselves another point on the board for ECS. Of course, every game vitally important towards trying to qualify for the finals, which I believe in Anaheim in December, like 8th or something like that, I think.
Yes, right by Disneyland.
So we've been told.
Yeah. It should definitely be a slugger. I think, obviously, as we mentioned, the game is quite close and could have been much closer, provided momentum swung another way just later in the half. So who knows what happens in the second bout. I don't know who actually benefits more from the information of the first game, whether it'll be TSM or was that TSM's best opportunity to come in with the knowledge from yesterday, have NRG learned and figured them out, and then they try, are they going to try something new, or are they going to try the same thing? There is something cool about playing the same map again and what the thought processes might be and watching maybe the teams evolve and try to adapt to each other. But I guess NRG in general just played a little bit better overall. I mean, they played their T side a little bit better, and even though they didn't have that strong CT side, I think we half expected them to have kind of a better T side in general. So maybe a similar performance that TSM still have to figure out, because even without that momentum shift, they were able to bring it as close as it was on T side to kick off the second half.
I can't help but feel, though, that NRG won that game without Peter really having a fantastic performance. I mean, I wouldn't say he was terrible, but he was kind of, run-of-the-mill border plate, meh sort of performance. So if he does start to show up, if he does start to rein in some frags alongside the likes of tabseN, this could end up being more one-sided for NRG.
It's interesting to see no kits, just everybody armoring up on both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of understand it. I just thought that you'd always, even like T side, fine, all armor up, but on CT side, just one person has a kit? Surprise. Well, Twistzz gets traded out off the top of hut. LEGIJA, long distance shot into heaven. And tabseN looking for this kill. Frustratingly so, but finds it. Definitely deserved.
FNS from behind with Relyks, who is going to dish out a couple of one-taps. FNS down, but now it's all on Relyks with his USP. LEGIJA and tabseN, the assailants. Bomb planted for tabseN, and he is going to land the Glock. And if it wasn't him, it would have been LEGIJA that came in for the frag afterwards. NRG with the first round on the board once again.
Was it NRG to win the first round? No, it was actually TSM. I think they were able to win the first pistol in the first half. If I'm not mistaken, I think like TSM actually got off to a pretty good CT start, and then it was like 6-0 or something like that.
NRG won it on T side, right?
On T side, yeah. Or, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe they did split. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It does not matter, folks. We are out in the A site with a bunch of people that have guns. 3v3 all of a sudden. Kory getting a little bit of information into Mini. Having to go through a smoke can always be tricky when shooting, but Sick has made it. Oh, made it so oh my gosh, this is actually quite a losable round for NRG, and then FNS, who had just tweeted about his performance in the first map, has now come away with 2 kills on the second round in anti-eco. Easy for TSM, easy for FNS, really nice recovery. And what can you say? NRG decided to go for a full upper hit. They do get the bomb down, but that's about as close to victory as they get. They ended up getting, not, I wouldn't say destroyed, but losing a lot of trades in a kind of an all-in upper attack.
And honestly, a lot of their power on their T side, because you're expecting to hit that 3-0, and that point it puts so much pressure on TSM in the first rifle round. So right off the bat, TSM coming through into this round have a better buy. Sure, it's not terrible for NRG, all things considered. They've got themselves an assortment of pistols and an AK on Peter, but NRG would have been very happy with winning that first pistol. They'd be expecting at least a 3-0 buffer.
Yes, and something I think, the only thing worse than losing a pistol is winning the pistol and losing the antique. I always say that, because that's just like you feel you have gotten yourself in the comfort zone of, okay, now we have 3 rounds for sure, and then you end up trading that out. But not only that, but if TSM were able to win this round, it's almost definitely going to be a 3-1 lead for TSM before the first rifle, where TSM have a ton of money. And Kory's doing the strat where he gets outside by himself. This time, it seems like he has some variations to this. This time he's actually gotten into big garage. And I'm not sure if he's going to work his way around. The pop is heard, but Relyks actually gets outplayed in that situation. The bomb gets dropped on ramp, but Peter, with a kill, has made a case for himself. Oh, and I'm not exactly sure how all the madness unfolded upstairs. But what we do know is Peter has a bomb in a 1v3, and he wants to plant.
Ooh, nearly did get the plant, but SEMPHIS opening the door was going to give him second thoughts. And Peter, who came through in this round with the only AK, has brought us full circle. Now, he did flirt with the door, so that could put TSM in a position of the unknown. Twistzz has been spotted. He's going to hold down on the left click. Well, Peter, oh, don't go in with the Glock. It's going to be death, surely. And whether it was Twistzz or Sick, those UMPs were definitely primed for a kill. TSM will pick up a second.
Yeah, I think you know, there's something to be said about in the 2-on-1 and missing an opportunity, and then the other team wisening up and being like, okay, now that we spotted him, we can get like optimal positions. And so chasing down that kill can be important because you might not get that opportunity twice. And I think he also felt like he did a substantial amount of damage. Maybe like, you know, it seemed crazy to go after him with the Glock, but maybe if he thought he was 20 HP, you know, this is a good opportunity. Also, probably didn't think they were both in fence. Either way, coming out on the upper site, LEGIJA switching back and forth is going to get 3K'd by Relyks. TSM Relyks has done his job watching Squeaky. All the players coming out have decided to fall over each other and bleed to their deaths.
NRG in a position as well where they can't really hope to buy here. I'm expecting to see some Kevlar, some equalized economy down to about 2K. That's typically the threshold, right? For 2K, it allows you to get AKs, full nades, and you're good to go in the next round. But TSM, considering they lost the pistol, they can be very happy with the situation they're currently finding themselves in. Of course, they can't afford to slip up here, but it could have been a whole lot worse for the team that are trying to bring this back to a 1-1 series.
Indubitably. SEMPHIS? Like that word?
I just didn't expect you to say it, really. Caught me off guard.
And okay, yeah, just everyone going outside, not having a lot of money. It kind of sucks on the T side having to save in the first place, but then to have all these multiple, I mean, not rounds in a row, but round after round saves. FugLy's going to come up. I think he actually did spot Twistzz on top of Hut, but yeah, Twistzz took a little bit of time to respond. SEMPHIS ends up getting killed as a result, and Gobby lining up the shot onto the top of Hut, but Twistzz too prepared, too ready, too young.
Too good, ultimately.
Too quick.
NRG as well, we've already talked about this, how they typically fare better on their T sides, so it's even more detrimental that they won the pistol and then pretty much went out broke. Because this rifle round, I think, is important in a lot of different ways for their confidence, for TSM establishing a real dynasty here on their Nuke CT side. There's a lot of mollies and smokes being exchanged on the A side. It's going to allow the terrorists to take a little bit more time before they decide whether they want to push the green button or not onto the site itself. And in the meanwhile, they are branching off onto ramp, but that's going to cost tabseN his life, so they no longer yield that part of the map. And this could force NRG's hands onto the A play, but TSM looking good. Peter's come through, actually tagging up his teammate first, but still picks off the frag afterwards. He's down to 7, and, well, make that down to 0. FugLy, 1 on 4. Missed the top fragger from the first map, although, as we've already discussed, his ADR wasn't fantastic, and Twistzz is going to put him down anyway. TSM breezing through the rifle round by of NRG.
Yeah, little to no problem handling that attack, and it's like, where was this CT side from TSM in the first map? Always a good shot, always a good sign. I was going to say something about just a spot of light. I mean, for them to follow in I guess what they've learned, how they've adapted following the last map, because they had something of a lackluster CT side overall, only getting, I want to say, like 5 rounds, maybe 4 rounds. So here they're almost already meeting their quota, and that's a good sign. Now the smoke's going to come out. It's actually going to miss. Oh, did it? No, it might be a smoke just so they can get the vent. And sometimes the smoke elicits some resource usage in response. A good nade comes out into tabseN, who was just chilling, not bothering anybody. And yeah, it looks like the smoke did end up missing, not going as deep as they wanted it to. And because of that, they get spot vent. Good flash. FNS blind, no enemies to deal with.
Considering that they only had that smoke to play with, that's a pretty big whiff. Now FNS is going to go in, and man, this is looking like a reinvigorated TSM from that first map performance that we witnessed. NRG having no luck, no dice on these pushes. They're getting completely repelled.
One of the only rifle rounds that they have left in this half to attempt anything, and so it will be a pivotal moment for NRG, who are now 1 round to the 6 of TSM. TSM also have an op, whereas Peter on NRG has a UMP. Nothing short of a downgrade. Here on T side, not that bad of a position to be in, but at the same time, it's a deficiency in terms of weaponry nonetheless. LEGIJA finding the opening kill, critical moment. FNS has had much better impact in this game than he has in the last, so.
And with simultaneously GobB pushing down Secret, the already vulnerable CTs. Oh, how has Relyks not died there? He's down to 3. I was about to say that the already vulnerable CTs have their work cut out for them. Peter has gone on to SEMPHIS. And it's looking like maybe NRG are going to double their digits here on the second nuke between these two teams. It's hard to see how Relyks on 3 HP, Sick and Twistzz get this done.
Yeah, they're in very tight spots. NRG have put them in really precarious situation. I don't know where the execute's going to come out. Looks like the flashes are happening lower. We see X-ray. A lot of stuff happening now. But the vent play, as 2 players come out, and Twistzz might be in a multi-frag location, ends up getting the first kill. Can he get the second one? No, he can't. Trade it up by LEGIJA immediately. Would have made it a 3v3.
Feels like that was really their one hope into this round. Sick and Relyks maybe looking for exits. I mean, that smoke to me declares that it's going to be a save.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the op was down lower, so oh, Relyks actually stayed alive. Yep. Funnily enough, the entire round.
Relyks is still alive, so I want to keep this $13,300 investment going through into round number 9. TSM do have money; they are able to replenish across the rest of the board. But a 3-on-2 retake with Relyks already definitely injured, and just 2 flashes. There's really no hope here. Looks like TSM will be able to save these 2. NRG's economy is not in a great place itself. GobB just charges into Gary.
This is not. Yeah, this is actually really bad by NRG. They don't have enough for full rebuys on everybody. So, one person is staying alive in a situation where they're about to have a reset. They should have just saved 4. Like almost certainly. Now they have $0 left over for next round. GobB 1,500. But you get the minimum amount, and TSM have a ton of resources here to win the round. So that was a little bit careless of a decision. The squeaky. Oh my gosh, they run through it. SEMPHIS is totally unaware. Twistzz gets traded out, but Sick has picked up 2 kills, and that leaves 2 alive for TSM.
Peter and tabseN, 2 players with a huge amount of talent and ability, but Peter is going to be momentarily silenced in round 9. All up to tabseN now, the German powerhouse. Going to be unable to connect the dots onto Relyks, and with giving his position away, it's unlikely now he's got any real hopes or dreams of getting much more than a bomb plant. Is he going to fake this or go for the full plant? He's going for the full plant. I could definitely respect that, so they are going to yield something out of this. tabseN, oh, missing out on that shot. I would definitely have expected him to land that one onto the finesse, but instead 7-2. And this is where the previous round of going for the last couple players and losing those weapons is really going to hurt them. The bomb plant may allow them to get another buy, but it's not going to be good. They're going to be missing out some nades if they do go so. And actually, they can't do it. So instead, it's going to be a half buy at most. Yeah,
they completely guffed. I mean, imagine, just think about that save. They could just have 4 players alive. They're chasing players who have $12,000. Like, just not thinking, I guess, when they're searching, they're seeking out to kill their opponents that had more money than them. Either way, now Cobb's gonna just armor up the man who had a little bit more money than everyone else last round and pick up a CZ, and it looks like they're gonna scurry across outside. Peter is making his way downtown, walking.
Pete is making his way to 6 or under. LEGIJA and GobB. Yeah, has got a kill on finesse, so that's going to give them a little bit of room to play with. Sick is good for the frag, but we've got knocked down 83 health to just 17, and GobB could finish off what was started. Oh, GobB, come on now. He's got 1. He could have easily got 2, and at that point, with the height advantage, that round would have been back on for NRG. Instead, another round here where Peter, tabseN, and FugLy could get AKs, or maybe Galils, but That's going to be sacrificing some power. Have we even seen Peter with an AWP on this T side so far? I don't think we have.
No, I think the first, if I'm not mistaken, the first rifle round he had a UMP.
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think he has.
Going into round 11, he's not using AWP yet.
I'm not sure. Maybe he's not even feeling it. Like maybe it's not even the plan for him, or maybe it's not even God B's plan for him. That was a great nade. That was like nearly a perfect 50 damage. And Twistzz on top with along with Sick have done a great job of holding upper. If one of them dies, and never mind, I was just kidding. They end up all getting crushed. What just happened? I'm not even sure. Wow, NRG just off that upper execute. I'm surprised they actually tried that again. I think it was a curveball in the sense that, wow, it ended up failing pretty quickly the first time they tried it, and then they, after their double save, ended up doing it again. Works out beautifully somehow. So credit to them. I think a lot of that was due to the mechanics. I mean, they just ended up hitting their shots, but
Relyks definitely saw, I think it was Peter who was hopping outside, where the smokes are going to be enough to push him back. There's a screen that he cannot peer through, and in doing so, NRG are going to move down secret. Now, it's a pretty likely situation where TSM call the smoke has landed, and now Sick has moved into position. They also have another player just behind him, which I believe is SEMPHIS, if he's required. And now they'd be pushing through the Molotov, and Sick should be good to get another kill here from God B. The bomb's been dropped. NRG with a reckless play, and it's totally worked against them.
Yeah, I mean, Gabi has run through Molotov before, and that Sweetie Molotov ended up killing SEMPHIS. I feel like that's just like antecedent. Is that the word to his style of play, or like what he wants?
Antithesis, do you mean?
I guess yeah, antithesis would be a better word. So yeah, so that would be the antithesis to the style of play that GOB, I think, stands behind. And you know, obviously he's smarter than that. He's not so rigid to the point that he's not going to make any or not take any risks, so to speak. But to run through a Molotov twice, especially in that position with the bomb, for seemingly little, I don't know. It didn't seem like a great opportunity, but I guess the first time he realized he caught SEMPHIS off guard running out of Squeaky. This time I feel like maybe, it could be the same thing. Smoke's going to come out. I think it's going to allow for a safer plant, as you're not going to be able to cover everything. Absolutely blasted. I think he was actually being... I don't even think he was completely in the smoke.
No, I think he may have just seen like his ass poking out, or like his leg or something. But to be honest, even if he didn't see him, it's pretty obvious he'd go for that plant anyway. So. And
here it is, just a run through.
Man, that's rough, isn't it, to watch?
Yeah. And, you know, FugLy, what a good teammate, decides to run through. LEGIJA does not. LEGIJA's like good luck, boys. And honestly, like, I just don't even... I mean, I don't know if he's like, I'm running through, or if he just ran through and has the expectation for his teammates to trade, and if LEGIJA is like, okay, 2 people are going through, that's more than enough to get the kill, but none of that made much sense, or ended up working out.
Another eco as well for NRG, so it's not going to get any easier. FugLy with the first. Peter surely going to go down to the hands of Sick, and now there's just too many terrorists up in his face. The Glock will finish him off, FNS. Going to try and do what he can with the AK. Players to his left and his right going to be pushed from lockers any second now. Twistzz, meanwhile, is going to frag tabseN, and Peter will go into the finesse, so TSM, all things considered, actually, a bit of a shaky round. This should have been a give-me round.
That definitely should have, yeah. I mean, we're talking no armor here. P250s. LEGIJA is holding on to an MP7. And there it is, 2 people spotted. Relyks actually goes for the second target. Gabi with a nice shot, wow. And Twistzz is actually going to have some opponents coming to him, I think. Are they going to avoid him? Well, actually, see, I mean, they probably saw him jumping into heaven, and so now he's getting the picture that, nope, they're not going into heaven. They might go lower. And Twistzz, not sure if he planned to drop down the vent, but the vent being popped will obviously alert him.
Both players fairly low without Kevlar. Smoke planting. He knows that one of these players is going to be in Toxic. That much is almost guaranteed. It's about the other player that he's not sure of, and that's what's keeping him honest. If it was a 1v1, he'd almost guaranteed be pushing Toxic right here, right now. He's going to be going for it anyway. There's the first kill. And he's going to get returned on. Peter is biding his time and waiting, and the P250 double dink is going to gift NRG a 4th round.
Well, what a beast. But yeah, I mean, the 4th round on P250 buy What do you say about that? That was really, I mean, I don't know how the trades unfolded, but at the end of the day, you just lost a bunch of duels to people who didn't even have head armor. So TSM not going to be happy about that. Sick almost salvaged the round, or Twistzz, excuse me. Don't mean to confuse the young talent, and it looks like a full outside play by NRG. Yeah, a lot more emphasis outside.
TSM rummaged together a buy without defuse kits, and once again, tabseN is going to be opening up the round. It's going to be Relyks that falls down. Molly into Secret. NRG getting a bit more power, a little bit more success for their troubles outside. And that seems to have been the vulnerability for TSM so far, not just in this game, but yesterday against Complexity as well. Twistzz is going to pick up the UMP and make it work. So 4-4, plenty time left to play with, but NRG are taking complete control out of outside now.
And SEMPHIS finds the kill, and Sick actually flashed, falls out of heaven. I'm not sure if he was aware that they're, yep, it looks like they definitely have got the memo. We've got to be prepared for heaven, so at this point, NRG have to play the mind game. Do we want to stick around and try to re-aggress? And tabseN goes down to chase this this trade, which I have to say, I mean, you do need to trade in that situation, but can't do it. FNS looking again much better than he did in the first game. Second last round of the half, 4-9 TSM on 9 for CT, already beating out what they have they accomplished in the first map, and as we see, the last few rounds been traded 1-for-1. But it looks like tabseN actually just wants to hang on to what he's got, because next round they're going to buy no matter what, and with 15 seconds remaining, he doesn't have any options.
Yeah, he pretty much has to save this. Now, as we saw from the scoreboard being brought up, NRG have been unable to get 2 rounds in a row, which has been one of the main proponents as to why they're currently in this situation at 10-4 behind. They've been unable to really collapse the economy of TSM. They've been close a couple times, and then they stumble on the last sort of hurdle. So it's been one of those kind of maps where NRG have just been unable to really get a flow going. And that's going to have to change for the CT side. They will not get away with it, especially if TSM end up closing this out 11-4. Now, in terms of weaponry, do you expect that to be the case? But we saw pretty much P250s and Tech-9s without head armor ruin through them earlier. So I'm not going to necessarily say TSM 100% take this round, but 11-4 would be an incredibly solid half, considering how that first map went.
A little bit of spam being traded. It's actually tabseN and Gabi early on in the round to take quite a bit of damage. I really wonder how NRG's CT half will fare in response to this, considering that TSM actually did quite well on their side last game. FNS jumping up over the smoke, barely spotting ahead. Surprised he could see that, but getting the kill. tabseN moving over to the corner of ramp and getting a headshot. LEGIJA as well, joining in with the Tech-9.
You have the advantage again here, Launders.
Yeah, indeed. Oh, someone on a big flank. Yes, this could be huge. Oh, not only that kill, but oh, sick. Ends up dying.
SEMPHIS with 2, looking for a third, trying to scamper away, comes back in for seconds, dropping Peter down to 18. Twistzz is all that stands between NRG and a 5th round, and he gets stuck on the ladder. You hate to see it, but Peter...
I'm not sure that was just... I think that was all his fault, in a sense that, like, he was on the ladder, so either he, like, if he wanted to go down... Like, if he thought that he was down there, he didn't want to get on the ladder at all. And if he wanted to go down, he needed to go down more quickly, for sure. Because there's no point in aiming down a ladder, but not actually going down it, right? So maybe a little bit of indecision catching up with him. But as we can see with the nice halftime graphic, we've got 11 rounds of TSM. This would be a hard game to lose, you'd think, after their T-side performance in the last map, or the last time these guys met, which was about 40 minutes ago on Nuke. Cast by Metas and I. And FugLy pushing up. Oh, good opportunity to get killed. About to get swarmed, however. Relyks manages to take him down before he's able to get first blood. LEGIJA falling down into the lower site.
And the NRG need this round desperately. Without this, they could be staring out a 14-4 deficit. And the kills are going the way of TSM. LEGIJA and Peter trying to do what they can. Peter decides, screw this, I'm going to try and wrap myself around and have somewhat of the unknown quality. Put myself back into a potential flank. LEGIJA in the meanwhile has picked himself up 1 kill and a second with the P2000. He's going to be pushed down. He's trying to reload. He actually switched to his knife to cancel the reload effect, but instead, Sick will dome Peter. Second pistol goes to TSM, and they are in such a good position now.
Yeah, I think he might have just realized right after that there was a footstep made in the lobby. He was like, oh, I shouldn't have reloaded, and would have probably been a good position to turn around and get that 180 kill. I think it was good, his push into the site to kill Relyks after the plant. But ultimately, TSM are now at 12. It's just a huge deficit. There's just so much ground to make up for NRG. And they are going to be buying. So if TSM win this round, they're going to see that they're going to have killed a couple of people with full armor, excuse me, which is almost an all-in at this point. We're getting to the critical moments of any map, the 13-14 mark.
Yeah. And if NRG don't force in the next round, as you expect they probably wouldn't, to build up a bit of bank, it's going to be 14-4, and then their force buy likely will be very, very poor indeed. Probably without a kit, probably without a few nades, maybe a FAMAS port picked up instead, or a Mag 7, something like that. Of course, that's assuming that they don't take one of these rounds and they don't kill a bunch of players. tabseN is very powerful with the Deagle, but he doesn't really have a chance to use it. Twistzz had the drop on him, 13-4. NRG, I'm expecting to eco here, but I've seen a CZ picked up for God B, so are the rest of the team going to follow him? Or is it just having a little bit of power to play with?
Yeah, you have to wonder. I mean, they just tried to buy, which means they bought early. If they don't convert that, they're eating two more rounds of one more round of losses at least. And it seems like they've made their bed. So here they are, lying in it, having no good armor to speak of. And it seemed like SEMPHIS almost got double dinked there. Maybe it was a part of it was through the wall.
Yeah.
Fortunate for him.
By tabseN, who did eat quite a bit of damage on his retreat, down to 48. He's doing a lot of damage here, tabseN, and fair play to him. He's dropped both SEMPHIS and FNS down to 12 and 33 respectively. This does give a chance to one of those other pistols. I mean, they've got 2 P250s and a CZ of finishing off what they've started outside. Yeah,
I quite like this from TSM, just coming back to group up for a hit. I mean, they've got some information, they caused some rotates, but let's just not get picked apart by taking small bits of damage. That would just be the most tragic way to lose this round, if any. At the very least, if you group up and you lose, then you know like you all suck. But if you individually do it, it's just kind of just bad decision making.
I mean, if you group up and you lose against these kind of pistols, either you've made a huge error or someone on their team has just gone God mode.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to brush off anyway. FNS, 35 seconds left for TSM, looking like he wants to go for an entry. Relyks also on the map is going to pick up his second on to Peter. God be down. And NRG are cruising to a 4-14 deficit. FugLy with his USP can maybe pick up a kill onto the likes of SEMPHIS, but again, it's an expendable weapon. They don't really care if the Mac 10 trades hands. It's not as if it's going to do a great deal to any of those Kevlars, and they know that NRG are into a buy next round anyway, so there's no reason not to chase down, even with 12 HP.
I would actually like to see TSM maybe take the round out pretty quickly. I don't think NRG will have a lot of money for counter grenades, and TSM absolutely know they are buying here. There's no way they would save that round after forcing up, and so there are, surprisingly enough, Gabi was wise enough to sacrifice having an M4 to get an incendiary. LEGIJA also is making the selfless choice of getting an incendiary and a FAMAS as opposed to getting the M4 that he could have, for sure. But either way, it's the disadvantage that the CTs are low on grenades. That will always hold true. And if they are not, then they have really bad guns, which also would make the execute favorable. And what a grenade. That hurt LEGIJA quite a little.
It was thrown by one of the CTs. It bounced off the wrong wall. Well, when it rains, it pours for NRG. Nothing going their way. FugLy is going to connect the shot onto Sick, but tabseN dead again, this time in Garage, courtesy of Relyks. He seems to have been picking up quite a few entries on this T side, this T half thus far. FAMAS, UMP, and M4. No kits, but some utility to work with. NRG trying to desperately tick down as much time as possible, put TSM into a poor position to make decisions with. Relyks is going to be using that flash, then pushing through. LEGIJA should have the upper hand on him, but he's going to jump across, and that smoke is now going to keep him safe from FugLy. In the meanwhile, God B's going to go down courtesy of a grenade from Relyks, and LEGIJA keeping this round alive for now. SEMPHIS with the AWP. Can he pull this off? No, is the resounding answer. FugLy with the M4A1S to the head. TSM have to, well, You have to concede the next 9 rounds if NRG want to bring this back to even.
Doesn't look like there is much hope for it, but NRG have just shown that they can win a round, and albeit only by a small margin. They the more rounds that go on, the more information they get, the better they have the opportunity to make better decisions based on what their opponents are doing. Also, they have a whole map of data to make up for what was a lackluster CT side in the first half or the first map. So let's see, full AK buy versus the M4 buy. Actually, there's a captain that's picked up an AK from the last round, and we finally have the op on Peter. I'd like to maybe get Peter cam if he has the opportunity to be in a frag heavy spot, as he just looks like it's just big garage. And surprisingly, we haven't seen like a lot of abuse of the outside rafters, which is kind of the biggest change, I think, for terrorists. But at the same time, there has been a lot of emphasis on watching that. But in a game where people aren't using it, you aren't going to have so many people watching it, right? You just condition your opponents to not worry about it and then abuse it.
And you're seeing more emphasis put on both teams from taking passive positions outside, like on top of Heaven or in locker room. Places like that have typically yielded quite a few kills. FugLy is going to get the first into this round. 45 seconds left, so just shy of a minute. TSM still haven't got a great deal of real estate. I mean, they've been poking and probing ramp. They've tried outside. They've tried through upper. So I'm expecting to see some kind of a more aggressive play now. See if they can get a pick and try and convert that into a round at hand. Relyks now going to be using outside. So just as you're mentioning that Catwalk hadn't really been utilized, it is now. tabseN, though, point-blank range execution kill onto FNS. And it's looking pretty good now for NRG. Looks like they're going to keep themselves alive a little while longer. Relyks with 12 health is going to pop flash his way out. Twistzz, meanwhile, is going to do damage. 10 seconds left now, but Twistzz is very low. Godbeat's going to go down. Surely this isn't possible, NRG. You had this round in your hands. And Peter, alongside FugLy, are in no position to stop the plant. So with about 2 or 3 seconds left, Bomb does get taken down. And now Relyks and Twistzz in prime position to maybe pull off this 2v2.
Yeah, I mean, they're almost certainly going to be aware of Heaven, but will they be able to stop it is the other question. Peter has been spotted in vents. He's not going to have a better retake spot than this. But there is one more opponent to worry about, and he goes down. That should be the round. Peter is now going to have to rotate. He was obviously trying to make presence so that his attention was drawn to him as FugLy regressed into Heaven, but it seemed like Twistzz must have hit a really nice shot in that situation to be able to take him down. Twistzz is going to die here, so he's going to...
I was about to say...
yeah, he's going to just take off at the moment.
May as well just face him.
Yeah,
you're going to die anyway, so try and take him down with you. Again, maybe it's a case of, with the new nuke, not knowing the radius of the bombs. Not entirely sure what the thought process was there, but TSM, all things considered, pull back a 2v5 clutch. NRG should never be losing that.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Relyks was obviously pivotal coming up with that Heaven flank. It probably shouldn't have resulted in the 2 kills that it did, but... I mean, good on him for being able to do that. tabseN is like, oh my gosh, guys, I just did so much work for you. Like, dealing with outside push almost entirely. But at the same time, probably had no idea someone had been able to circumvent rafters. Meanwhile, 2 of their teammates have died, and tabseN just goes down outside as well, as they decided to do it fast. And just as I kind of pointed out, the raptor abuse that is just working wonders for them. Already into the A site in this round is just about a loss. I mean, this should be easy frags.
SEMPHIS up on the rafters, able to get the spray all on FugLy with his UMP. He's going to bag himself a second kill and trade across to an AK. Pretty clear kills at that. Only 51 health. Well, 49, I should say, was taken away from him. So this is still doable, but it is highly, highly unlikely. The bomb actually out in a sketchy position. It's on the wrong side of Squeaky as far as TSM are concerned. So they're going to have to pass FugLy.
What is going on?
What? Why? Why was SEMPHIS looking? I don't know. Maybe they thought he was pushing through Squeaky. Either way, they're going to get the round as the Avenge frag comes in. 16 to 5. What a change of fortune that was in the end.
Yeah, Twistzz 25 and 8.
Nice.
And yeah, here's SEMPHIS to make that wrap happen, and FugLy almost to bring this back. Quite close at a certain point. And it seems like sometimes in these clutch situations they're almost too careful, to the point that it's like you're kind of worried for them. Like, it seems like TSM, for example, you never have to fake plant because they're not going to peek you. So they're playing like fundamental to a fault almost. So there's never even the thought, oh my gosh, they might come in this 2v1 and one of them might do something stupid to peek me. You need to be able to keep the other team honest with those plays whenever possible. But either way, it's like a turnaround performance, a very dominant, obviously an excellent standout showing from Twistzz to get 25-8. And they split maps 1-1.
Indeed they do. And what a turnaround that was, 16-12 to a very one-sided affair for TSM. But that's going to do it from this couple of best of ones. Next up is Cloud9 as they face off against Complexity. Certainly the favorites are Cloud9, but we'll find out if they can convert after this short break.